Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United news as Ruben Amorim comes out with an incredible statement really about the differences between Manchester United and Liverpool. Obviously, I don't think he's telling the truth because he's the manager of Manchester United, so I don't think he can tell the truth, but we'll get into that. And also, a massive statement by Paul Scholes. If you've not seen it, we'll talk about that as well. So two big topics of conversation. Get in the comments with your thoughts. First of all, Ruben Amorim in his press conference today, very impressed, spoke about, positivity, needing results. It's great to be backed by Sir Jim, but he needs results, etc., etc. But the big thing that I focused in on was what is the difference between Liverpool and Manchester United? And the answer he gave was sometimes things change really fast. But when you see the history of both clubs, you can see one club can have bad runs. We can win any game. If we think about winning the next game, we can win the game. If we're able to take the same level as Liverpool in the future, I'm not sure how long it will take for us to get back, etc. And I thought straight away, these sort of questions are always going to be asked of the manager of Manchester United, and the answer we're going to get is always going to be fake. It's not going to be true. And I'm not calling Amorim a liar. I like Amorim. I want him to do well. I'm Amorim in and all that jazz. But you ask a manager of Manchester United who's being paid by these owners, what's the difference between Man United and Liverpool? You're not going to get the answer because he's being paid by these owners and he can't say the difference is the way that Liverpool have been run over the last decade and the way that Man United have been run over the last decade. Because the truth of the matter is, we're not where Liverpool are because of how things can quickly change or because of cycles. We're where we are because Liverpool are a well-run club with a strategic plan and a vision to be good on the football pitch and, off the field, a dedication to the history of what that football club is. They're not going to leave Anfield. They're not going to upset their fans. Their focus is success on the pitch with a sustainable plan and that, they're not running themselves as a business. Manchester United are the opposite of all those things. So if Ruben Amorim is saying and believing that, in a couple of years' time, Liverpool could be where we are and we could be where they are, that's bullshit. I'm sorry, that is bullshit. And look, Ruben Amorim, if I'm in that job, I would say the same thing. If I was asked as the manager of Manchester United, what's the difference between Liverpool and Manchester United? I'm not going to sit there in a press conference and say, well, they're a well-run club who value football and value what their club stands for and are dedicated to making it successful. We're a badly run club, as you can see, and we value money, which is why the club is in debt, and these owners just see us as a cash cow. You're fired. You're fired if you say that. You can't say that. So he's got to sell the dream. And the dream that Man United are trying to sell is that, you know what, who knows where we could be in 3 years? Maybe we could be where Liverpool are and they could be where they are. It's not a cycle. This is not like we wake up tomorrow and the footballing gods say, Man United, you're back and it's your turn, Liverpool, to have a bad time. Sustainability is what it's all about. And I think we're seeing that with Liverpool and Arsenal. The strategic plans that they have is why they are where they are. Basically, football clubs that run themselves like football clubs who want to be successful as football clubs have a better plan and a better chance of being successful than a club that lives off its name and just wants to make money out of it. And that's the truth of the matter. We hopefully can get a result against Liverpool on Sunday, but the longer term plan, I just don't see it. I just don't see the vision. I don't see the strategy. Everything about us is just so mercenary. Yeah, Old Trafford, let's just knock it down and build a new one. Yeah, winning titles, let's just say in 3 years' time. Yeah, midfield, let's just leave it till next year. This is not strategic planning. This is not structure. This is not valuing the core of what Manchester United should be. So, look, I've seen a few people talking about it. Is Amorim right? Amorim's just a manager trying to do his best. Ultimately, this is an ownership conversation. Ruben Amorim should not be being asked what the difference is between Man United and Liverpool because the difference is very bloody obvious and that's a question you should be asking Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Joel Glazer and maybe even the CEO. And you'll probably still get the same answer. Cycles, future, who knows? But reality is we're not a very well-run football club and that's why we're not doing very well as a football club, in my opinion. Next thing I want to talk about is Paul Scholes. Now, this caught my eye today. Really, really caught my eye because I hadn't seen it. And this is basically what he said. And I like Scholes here. I mean, look, they get it wrong. I get it wrong. You get it wrong. Ex-players get it wrong. Some of them get it wrong more than right. But what Paul Scholes says here is absolutely spot on. He says that the physical demands of the Premier League, certain Man United players can no longer keep up. Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, Casemiro were all great players before, but their bodies are no longer athletic strong enough or fast enough. Their level has declined to the point where they can no longer keep up with the demands of the Premier League. Every player in the league now is like a machine with body fat not exceeding 5%, able to run and be strong. United are currently relying on 2 or 3 players who cannot keep up with this level. And I thought, you know what? Why not? Why not? This is the sort of conversation I'd expect from this chat. Why is Paul Scholes not wrong for saying that? I think he's right. He's not wrong. He's right. I don't know about naming specific players like Shaw, Maguire and Casemiro, but at the end of the day, why not? It's his opinion. I mean, I certainly think Casemiro doesn't have the body for the Premier League anymore. I think international football, even Europa League football, maybe even Champions League football on occasion, he can still do it because it's slightly slower. The Italian league, I think he'd be fine. But in the Premier League, the hotbed of the Premier League, the intensity of the Premier League. Look, we've seen what happens to players who drop off in relation to mentality. We've seen Man United players who just turn up sometimes and don't fancy it, and you can see the drop off. And then we see them the next week and they turn up and you can see it. So if the percentage drop off just because you don't feel like it is huge, imagine what it is when you're physically not capable of it. Look, Harry Maguire has never been the quickest player anyway. I still think he has a value. I still think Casemiro has a value, and Luke Shaw started every game this season. But to highlight that the physical demand is a problem for them, that they're not strong enough, they're not athletic enough, they're not fast enough anymore. I mean, it's a very blunt statement from Paul Scholes, and it might get lost in a weekend where we're playing Liverpool, but I think it's a point that, I certainly wanted us to discuss and get your thoughts in below, because I genuinely think this is probably something that, when you look at the fitness and conditioning at Manchester United, and you look at the fitness and conditioning of the Premier League and how important it is this not a big red flag that we're focusing again on players that Luke Shaw's not 30 yet, but he may as well be. His body's broken, isn't it? Mason Mount. I mean, Mason Mount should be there. I think when he's fit, he's fine, but is his body capable? Is he strong enough? And that's where I'm looking at Paul Scholes here. It's not an age thing. He says athletic enough, strong enough, or fast enough. Strong enough is your body. Is your body capable of dealing with the physical demands of the Premier League? Phil Jones's body wasn't capable of doing it in his mid-20s. You might not be able to do it in your early 20s. So I think it's a very, very, very true thing. And when you look at the physical efforts of what Liverpool will put in on Sunday and what other certain teams do, even the Brentfords, this is probably something that we do miss out on. And it's very interesting that it comes from Paul Scholes. I'd love to get your comments on it. I personally agree. I think he's right. I think that we talk about ability, we talk about inconsistency, but sometimes we're lacking on the physical side of games as well. And we don't talk about it enough. We just go, oh, they're crap. They're not good enough. Oh, light switch players. But sometimes it just comes down to the fact that, in fairness, they can't deal with it. They just can't deal with the intensity of the Premier League. And I think it's a fair point by Paul Scholes, and it doesn't get spoken about enough. Anyway, get your comments in below. Let me know your thoughts. We're back live at 8 o'clock, of course, as always. And I'm on That's Football for Bundesliga live football if you want to call me, catch up with me over there. But get your comments in below. 2 big conversations there. Liverpool, Man United, what is the big difference? And can Man United just flick a switch and come back? Is it just about things changing quickly, like Amorim says, or is it bigger than that? And Paul Scholes, is he right? Is he right about we've got certain players that are not strong enough or fast enough or athletic enough, and that's what costs us? Let me know your thoughts. Take care. I'll speak to you in a bit.